Seeing the Negro Leagues come alive in MLB The Show and knowing kids and even current players are learning about it, how does that sit with you? How does that?
I say it all the time, and I mean it sincerely. The collaboration that we were able to work with Sony to include the Negro Leagues in the video game MLB The Show has been one of the biggest initiatives this museum has ever embarked on. Because what it has done is it has opened up the Negro Leagues to millions upon millions of young folks and young adults who, again, I don't think would have thought about the Negro Leagues until we brought it in a video game. And it fills my heart with tremendous joy to see the reaction that the game has generated. Everywhere I go, somebody stops me because they saw me in the video game. They know me as the voice of the video game. And what an honor it is to narrate these stories inside the video game, because I'll be honest, Payton, I saw myself doing a lot of things. I never dreamt that I would be in a video game, and it has turned me into a household name in the gaming community. But that is exactly what we hoped would happen. When I sat down with the folks over at San Diego studio, Ramon Russell particularly, when they dreamt up this idea about the possibility of including the Negro Leagues, I think this is what we all hoped would happen, that it would create a level of connectivity around this history. But what I've been pleasantly pleased about is not only are they learning about the Negro Leagues, they're falling in love with these players from the Negro Leagues. But as I've oftentimes said, what's not to love about the swagger of Satchel Paige, the speed of Cool Papa Bell, the mythical-like power of Josh Gibson? But the power was real. So if anyone deserved to be in a video game, it would be the players from the Negro Leagues. They played the game, I would guess you would say video game-esque.